What's up, guys? It's John with National Sports Entertainment, and I just wanted to do a recap of tonight's games. We still have a few in play, but it's going to be like 1 a.m. before they finish. And I also wanted to just go into a recap of our sequences. The other reason I wanted to put out a video now is it came to my attention that there's a game tomorrow that really fits my metric. I believe it's UConn. They play at like 6 a.m. And speaking of college basketball, again, if you saw my last video, then you know, but we did exceptionally well. I basically just posted my notes, who I had us taking, and, in the last video, and then told you guys to, whatever you needed to do, pick those teams. And they all just fit a specific metric. So I wanted to go into that and then who we're going to be taking. So one of those teams was Loyola Chicago. They fit that metric. They were like 0-7 on the spread this year. So I knew that was due to change. We did miss the Celtics under, and that's the one I recommended we double up with, was Loyola Chicago. This one, Duke had not gone over all year. That's why I had them in there. And we had quite a few other colleges. We had Howard. Yale did beat them. I did have Howard winning that. But FSU came through and they covered. And we had more too. This is just a few of them. Now, I wanted to go into the NBA games as well as tomorrow's college game. So it's right now we're not really sure what's going to happen. We do know that we have the Suns should cover. I think that's safe to say. We got the Cavaliers, and we did really good with the NBA today. Again, I think it's just picking the right games and the narratives. So the narratives around the NBA today, to me, were pretty obvious. If you look at the games, not all of them, again. Some of them you're going to have repeat games. But games like Knicks-Bucks. Now, Knicks-Bucks was an interesting one because I won. I got in at 6.5 if you saw my video yesterday. They did wind up doing a swing where I know people that got in at 6. So some people won, some people pushed, and that's probably why they did that. But this game came down to the last minute for a reason. They want to show people that the Knicks are like, Mitchell Robinson had 20 rebounds. This guy is a good interior defender, and they can play ball. Jalen Brunson's good. Randall, obviously good. Barrett. They have a good squad here, and some of them can get going. So I think they're going to be the play-in team. But, yeah, so this one I officially won by half. Some people pushed. I always go by the official team rankings and ESPN rankings, and, that's what I used. The Celtics under didn't hit for us. Like I said, they went way over, but that's fine because I think people are going to start pounding their overs, and that's essentially what happens. The other one here, we went with Cavs just simply because it looked like a trap, to me at least. Two, I thought, relatively evenly matched teams, but the Sixers looking a little hotter. I thought that the Sixers it'd be closer to even, maybe like 1.5. So 3.5, I like the Cavs, and they did handedly cover. And another one, this one was all narratives, okay? And it was a story of 1 versus 2. Ja versus Edwards and Russ. And obviously that's Russell, and it wasn't enough. And you got Minnesota at home. If there's that 11-11 potential, of course I'm always going to take that. And, if I'm already leaning a certain way, it's not going to be my only criterion. But again, I think people were going to be fading Minnesota in this game. And I think they had to show people, no, Minnesota is still a playoff team. They still have some really good players. So we were able to get that one, which was nice. And the other one that, like I said, we have Lakers, Blazers in play. This can go anyway. I do think that, in my opinion, the Blazers will wind up losing. I love the Blazers. You know how I feel about them. I just think the Lakers will run away with it, but we'll see how that ages. And then here, this one's all but final. Suns 5.5. Like I said, it's not a gun-to-head play for me, but I'm certainly going to take the Suns at home when I think they've given up on Chicago. It's clear that they have way more focus on markets like New York, even at this point, Washington. Just, a lot of teams that I see them paying way more attention to in the East than the Bulls. So I think the Bulls, I think DeRozan gets traded and something happens there. But, yeah, that's why, I always say, and it's funny, it's usually the ones I'm the most, I did wind up playing this one a small bit, but usually the ones that I'm the least comfortable on, but I'll still take them, are the ones that cover the most handedly. But I think that's probably set up that way. But, yeah, here are the Lakers. I think if they win, they cover. It just seems to be a trend. And Grizzlies, T-Wolves, these type of games will really give us a feel going forward because, they're setting up rivalries. There was like 3 people ejected in that game. I thought that was interesting. It looks like tomorrow there's only one game, and you know who I like already. It fits the metric. But since there's not a lot of action, I wanted to go into the college basketball. And I'll go into all the games deeper, but the one that I like off the bat is fading UConn because UConn is currently 7-0 against the spread. And I wanted to put this video out because I think they play at 6 a.m. tomorrow. That's at least what I was told. Here we go. So I like Oklahoma plus 10 in this case. Now, I will say I would wait until the ESPN lines are official. So, it's 6 p.m. Okay. Maybe somebody missaw it. Either way, it's an earlier game, I guess. So, if that's one I do like. But I'll go into the basketball games. That's my apologies. I thought somebody told me it was a.m. Maybe I misread it. But yeah, I still wanted to go into these. And these are I think they're setting up the playoff narratives already, as we can see. It looks like the Clippers, they're going to go over any minute. We had the Clippers going over, again, simply a metric. So those metrics always balance out. But I think we're going to see the Blazers play a game like the Knicks, where they look good, they play fine, they probably don't win. But people are going to look at them and say, okay, these guys are content. Even though the Lakers are bums, people still know they have some great players. Timberwolves, to me, they had to win this game at home. It just made no sense otherwise. I stayed away from the Pelicans because when you're playing a really bad team, you really don't know. And I know people say Raptors, they're not a really bad team. I think they are. I think they're pretenders. I think when you line them up against actual threats, I think they should lose, rigged or not rigged. So, maybe they'll be one to follow. But they're just one who seem to be more of in the spoiler category, in my opinion. I could be wrong. But yeah, and Hawks Magic we stayed away from because, this looks like that's what should happen, honestly. But that's not what always happens, They play a couple times, and I just didn't want to play that one. Same with Wizards Nets. So Nets, I want to try and get a gauge on what they're doing with them, how they're going to treat Kyrie. But yeah, Bucks, Knicks, like I said, most won, but some pushed. I like the Knicks going forward. So when on Christmas they're playing the Celtics, they're only given 3.5 or getting 3.5. I find that very odd. I'll call it right now. I think there's going to be a Christmas upset. And T-Wolves, this is a perfect team that they have all the potential. Obviously, I think they could win way more often than not. So when we start seeing them getting like a point or something to that effect against a team that's nothing like the Grizzlies, like a team like the Bulls, then we can understand it's a trap the other way. But in this case, when it was kind of going back and forth, but the Wolves were only really getting 2.5, to me it just seemed like a trap where a lot of people were going to say, the Grizzlies are easily going to cover that because they've been way more consistent. So I know I have a lot of newer people. That's why I wanted to go into that, as well as the sequences, just to show you, I don't watch these games that often. For me, it's more just, using the metrics and also using the fact that we know specific teams are trap games and specific games they have to set up narratives. And if you didn't notice, they made D'Angelo Russell and Anthony Edwards look like the best tandem in basketball, which they've already said that they are, so that's fine. But yeah, so we can kind of see the playoff picture going forward. The Lakers pulling away. We have them -6, of course. I don't think it's going to be just a pull away. I do think the Blazers keep it close, but I think at the end we pull away and take that one. And yeah, like I said, UConn 6 p.m. tomorrow, but I still like fading them and taking, I think it was Oklahoma State, whoever it is. And that's just the metrics. If you want to, like I said, I'll leave my Discord as well because for Discord I go into all the college games. So if there's any that I missed, they'll be covered in the Discord. And my next video, I'm also, since we have some time now, a little bit of time, I'm going to be going into this schedule coming up between Friday and Saturday. This game is a very interesting one. I do find it interesting that it's only a 3-point game, but we can go into that at another time. I'm referring to USC here, of course. And we'll go into the NBA games, but tomorrow there's only one. You know who I like, and it's just because they're the best on the metric. But yeah, we had a really good day. We closed out every sequence. We do have the Lakers in play, so we'll have to see how that goes. But I don't have much doubt there. And the Suns, I don't ever like to chalk one up early, so we'll wait. You never know. But that one's looking good as well. But yeah, so last several days we've been doing really well. But even the couple of days before that, where we had that rocky slump, what happened is we've easily came back and closed out the sequences, which is all that matters. You see the 17, the 20, the 24, and it adds up. So that's our goal, is to just consecutively close out these sequences, which we are. And I think we're doing best on college basketball, which might be revealing because I know nothing about that. It's literally just numbers. And again, you can go to team rankings and check them yourself. They never just hold up through a season where a team's like 0% or even under 20 on any particular spread, whether it's on the under, the over, winning or losing against the spread. So it's a good metric, but the narratives are nice too. So we'll be using them going forward. We got some NFL action. Obviously, we got a Thursday game that I think is very trappish. So we'll go into all that. But I always like to do a quick little recap and kind of see where we're at, gauge where they have these teams at. And I think we're really over the target with the NBA. There's a few teams that I'll be honest, I really don't know what's going on with them, and that's why I stayed away from them. And that's just one of them. I'm not too sure what's going on, so I'm going to stay away for a bit. The Blazers are a rough one because I have them go. I have them as a sleeper this year. I have them representing the Western Conference Finals. Going to the Western Conference Finals. I have to fade them when I think it's the right time, and I think it's the right time. So I'm not just going to take them because they're my pick to win the division and surprise people. But we'll see what happens there. And we can go more into the Blazers if you guys want at another time, and other teams that I think are going to essentially be in the finals, Western Conference, Eastern Conference, etc. So that's really it. And we'll go into, if you want me to go into hockey and stuff, I can. Not a lot going on tomorrow, so we can go into there'll be a lot of college football and basketball and a little bit of college football, I think. Actually, I don't think there's any college football. So it's really all college basketball. But if you guys want me to go into something, I always will, But yeah, I just want to say, just by sticking to simple metrics, we did really well. And by looking into the narratives and all that, I look at it like card counting, When you count cards, the higher the count, you start getting a bigger advantage. When we can start incorporating every metric, not just one, not just gematria, or not just a narrative, or not just a trap, but we have them all, incorporated into one, which is usually the teams I wind up picking, then I feel like we're going to have a big advantage. And that is bigger in the Discord as well, because people have different insights in the Discord and different sections we have dedicated to different ways of tackling games. So not to be too long-winded, I just wanted to go into that because I know I got a lot of newer people that are tuning in and maybe unfamiliar with the sequences I do, or, why we bet the games the way we do, the double up, the triple up, all that. And obviously I made a video dedicated to that, but I just always like to kind of recap everything. So yeah, tomorrow we'll do probably some more specific game, I'd say specificities on the basketball games, the NBA, NCAA basketball games, and I'll try and do maybe an NBA playoff picture. I basically kind of have my playoff picture already. I think that about 2 teams from each side are going to get switched, and that's all I really see happening. But I'll go into that deeper as well. So take care, everybody. We've been, doing really good. Nothing's really changed. It's just we're on a really good string, which is always nice and makes it sound easier. But since the beginning, we've been doing good. And since we've been really hitting like 70% these last several days, it's just been looking like a cakewalk. But it's never easy. These metrics are ones that I don't sleep on. So, I just say, we have enough, right? We made enough today to, if we were to go have a 3-leg loss, we'd be perfectly fine. We made more than enough to cancel that out. But of course, it's nice when we could just run through them. But I also like to just show people that even like in my one of my more recent videos, even when we go on downswings, it's still way up from where we started because it's all about disciplined money management. And that's the most important thing, is just being disciplined about our bets and when to use certain ones. And that's all. Again, I always talk to people. If you have any questions, I can go into that as well. Because some people do parlays and stuff, and that's going to change. My system's not going to work for a parlay unless it's catered to it. So if you ever have questions, just let me know, and I'll certainly answer them for you. Take care, everybody, and happy earnings.